It is Sunday, the 26th of September, 2021. I'm looking at a 2021 Montreal municipal election campaign poster of Peter McQueen, councillor for Notre-Dame-de-Grâce, my city councillor, as it were, for my district that I live in. Right outside the Unitarian Church of Montreal, which has repeatedly misused the SPVM police force and Canada's criminal justice system to suppress my peaceful public protest against Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse, which includes such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers, to say nothing of Unitarian Universalist Sunday school teachers, as well as my protest against cover-up and denial of that clergy sex abuse. Unfortunately, Peter's pretty well totally 100% complicit in that. I don't think he's ever spoken out against it. He's also totally 100% complicit in the false accusations of criminal harassment and breach of conditions that Sue Montgomery persuaded the Crown to bring against me in a desperate effort to keep me out of city council meetings, because I was asking her some tough questions about her complicity in Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse, cover-up and denial. So essentially, unfortunately, Peter and pretty well every other Project Montreal politician is complicit in Sue Montgomery's abusive misuse of the SPVM police force, abusive misuse of the criminal justice system to keep me out of city council meetings, to prevent me from asking tough questions about her past abusive misuse of the SPVM police force and criminal justice system on behalf of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. So, yeah, unfortunately, Peter is part of the problem until he decides not to be. Until Peter decides to admit that he made a mistake and start acknowledging the real truth. And really, he should do that because, you know, in the meantime, even more than a year ago, I think at the beginning of 2020, so about a year and a half ago, Valerie Plante finally realized what a liar Sue Montgomery was, and she even went on public record accusing Sue Montgomery of fabricating stories, creating alternative facts, and playing the victim. Now, it's not 100% clear what exactly those fabricated stories are, what exactly those alternative facts are, and how exactly Val Plante thinks Sue Montgomery's playing the victim. But all of those descriptions apply very, very well to the false accusations of criminal harassment that Sue Montgomery brought against me, pretending to fear for her safety when she's never at any time been in any kind of danger. I've never threatened her. I have no history of violence. I've been protesting against Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse for like over 2 decades, and in that time, I've never physically attacked someone. I've been assaulted on several occasions by Unitarians, and in one of those assaults, I took the defensive move of stopping walking backwards. That's the most violent I've been. I stopped walking backwards when David Horan pressed his face into my camera, and he was way too close, and I wanted him to back off. So I figured, well, if I just stop walking backward, it's going to press into his face a lot harder than if I kept walking backwards, and that might cause him to back off, and that's exactly what happened. He got a cut lip out of the deal because he ripped his face away from the camera as it was pressing into his face. But all I did was stop walking backwards, and it was his own momentum, his own weight and force forward that caused the injury of his slightly cut lip, you know, so a little tiny little bit of blood from David Horan, you know, first blood, as it were. That's the maximum violence I've ever engaged in. And really, I wasn't being violent as far as I'm concerned. I was being non-violent. I was just literally being completely passive, not moving at all. But unfortunately, David wasn't being completely passive, and you know, when you run into a rock and you're a big ship, well, you know, it might hurt a little bit if you're the ship. So that's it. Just wanted to make that clear. And I see my battery's about to die. I see my picket sign got blown over by the wind. But yeah, let's have a look at that, because this is what it's all about in terms of Sue Montgomery. So this is the back of my picket sign, which was being displayed. I was displaying the other side. But here's what it says on the back of the picket sign that got blown down. Helpless children have been raped by Unitarian Universalist ministers and Sunday school teachers. But the Gazette's retired justice reporter Sue Montgomery never reported the UUA's misuse of blasphemy law and clergy abuse cover-up legal bullying. It's actually worse than that now, because this sign is some years old. This sign dates back to like 2015 or so. There was an earlier version in 2014, but I tweaked it a little bit to make it more accurate and less, you know, basically to make it more accurate and not in any way mislead people. So that's the sign that I've been displaying for quite some time. I displayed it during the 2017 municipal election campaigns. I think I even displayed it earlier when Sue Montgomery was trying to be the NDP candidate. Maybe not. No, I'm pretty sure, yeah. But certainly during the last municipal election campaigns, certainly in front of the Gazette, after Sue Montgomery falsely accused me of libel, blah, blah, blah. So yes, this sign, 100% truthful, by the way. Nothing even misleading in this. Nothing that can be misinterpreted in an incorrect manner. Entirely 100% truthful. And yes, Peter McQueen was aware of this. Val Plante was aware of this. Pretty much every other Project Montreal politician was aware of this. And yet they went ahead and recruited Sue Montgomery to be their mayoralty candidate for Côte-des-Neiges, Notre-Dame-de-Grâce borough, in spite of my warnings during the June 2017 City Council meeting. And as if that wasn't enough, Val Plante appointed Sue Montgomery as her first deputy mayor after Sue had won the election and was the mayor of Côte-des-Neiges, Notre-Dame-de-Grâce in early November of 2017. By the end of the month, Valerie Plante had appointed Sue Montgomery as her deputy mayor, even though I had previously told Valerie Plante and everyone at the June 2017 City Council meeting that Sue Montgomery had involved herself in abusive misuses of the SPVM and the criminal justice system to shut down my protest against clergy abuse outside the Unitarian Church of Montreal. Oh, and I forgot to mention, yeah, I did say it was worse. Well, since all of that, in 2019, Sue Montgomery went on public record claiming that there's no sexual abuse in the Unitarian Church, no cover-up in the Unitarian Church. She claims to have looked into it and found nothing. And she said this on the public record. She told Carol Off, CBC As It Happens host, in an interview. She told Ainsley McClellan, CBC Daybreak host at the time, that there was no sexual abuse in the Unitarian Church. She told Stéphane Giroux of CTV that there was no sexual abuse and no cover-up of sexual abuse, and this was reported as if it was a fact by CTV News. So these are brazen lies. You want to talk about fabricated stories, you want to talk about alternative facts, these are brazen lies by Sue Montgomery, and they can easily be proven to be brazen lies. So I see my battery is about to go. We're 9 minutes into this, so I think we're just going to wrap this up on that note. Oh yeah, just one last thing. The sermon title today it's all about what the future will be for the Unitarian Church of Montreal. What's to come. What's the new chapter going to be? Well, I hate to say so, but part of that new chapter is going to be me resuming my protest here in front of the church, keeping it up for months, maybe even years, until such a time as Montreal Unitarians and the Unitarian Universalist Association start practicing what Unitarian Universalism so fraudulently preaches about justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, which justice relies on, and various other Unitarian Universalist principles that they make a total mockery of, and have been making a total mockery of for decades now. That's it for now. Sunday, the 26th of September, 2021.